seconds later. And from that point forward, it became a Gen G runaway train. They were not going to stop for nothing. And now Top Esports have to find a way to slam the brakes and hope that they can push it to a game number 3.
Top Esports moving over to the blue side for this game 2. We'll ban away the Ambessa and the Wukong, exactly the same as game 1. Gen G sticking with that Kiana. Game 1 they got rid of Yunara and Azir to round out their bans. We'll see perhaps that Yunara sneaks through. Sometimes she does in this second phase of bans. But for the moment, Gen G just pontificating, having a little ponder about what is going to be that second ban. Orianna, their choice.
Yeah, we probably get the Orianna Azir both banned again this time around. Those picks are just too powerful for most teams. So you Medic, you get your choice, Azir ban or Yunara ban.
Well, I like this from Top Esports, basically saying if you don't ban the Azir, we immediately get the Ryze first pick, or we're going to take the Azir, have a great matchup in the mid lane, and sure, you can get the Yunara, but honestly, Yunara trying to play into a Ryze can find it really, really difficult, so Top Esports trying to pinch that pool a little bit.
It's also trying to get Cream something he's super comfortable on. He's played 8 games of Ryze in this summer, has won 7 of them. Cream has been struggling to really have as much of an impact as he'd like, and there's the Ryze ban from Gen G. They realize it. So Yunara and Azir getting through this draft.
So they don't want to give the Ryze and then do a Nivea into it. They would rather give the Azir over or the Yunara. You know, you get your pick. You get your choice of the power picks.
I genuinely would have expected the Azir. It feels like with the Azir, you've got slows, you've got decent range, you can kind of keep Yunara at arm's reach and make it a little bit difficult for to find the fights, and especially with the Cassiopeia Ryze, Orianna, the Talia, the Aurora gone, so much has been taken out of that mid lane champion pool, and Chovy's just going to get his hands on Azir now.
Maybe it's a factor of TES right now have more confidence in Jackie than they do in Cream at the moment and want to invest in him as far as the comp does go. But yeah, it is a dangerous proposition to give Chovy the Azir. Cream could go then, you know, like a Kali or something into it and try and put some kill pressure, some assassin answer into it if Gen G snapped that one up. They're not going to do it immediately, but you have to feel like that's where it's headed.
Yeah, you don't really want to give away the Azir alongside a Yunara. It's kind of best of both worlds for Top Esports at that point. I will say I think Cream's slightly more comfortable on the Azir, on the Akali than he is on the Azir. So there's the Kai'Sa lock. So if Top Esports want it, they can take the Azir. Their issue is Chovy then has counter on R3 here before we move into that second set of bans. It's kind of both teams playing a little bit of chicken with the chicken in the mid lane.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They're still going to go for the Azir here. Like Cream, when he first entered the LPL, was known for his Sylas and Akali play, so that was probably what they were trying to play into. But, I mean, the Azir is just so incredibly strong. Paired with the Yunara, just go for slamming all these tanks now and have yourself a field day.
And Gen G know that this is what was going to happen. I mean, like, if you're drafting on the world stage and you say, oh, we'll leave Yunara and Azir up, and you're not sure if they're going to take Yunara and Azir, like, Gen G have to have prepared something for this.
Gen G have prepared that they're going to accept the Reddit challenge. They're using the lowest win rate champions at the tournament, Jarvan and Kai'Sa.
Yeah, but now Top Esports want to enter the ring with them, with the Pantheon. So where does that leave us, Chovy?
Someone needs to pick Maokai.
Pantheon has less games played, so I guess the challenge is bigger here. But yeah, they give over both the Yunara and the Azir. So Chovy, I want to see the counter that you have prepped. Clearly, you have it ready, and you gave it over with a purpose.
Currently hovering over the LeBlanc. We're also looking at the Yone for a second. He's going to get poked out on the Yone in that early game, but Chovy pretty comfortable on the pick. I mean, he's pretty comfortable on every pick in the League of Legends handbook. There it is. Yone locked in alongside this Kai'Sa Jarvan.
This is so fun. Dive, dive, dive here. We've got Jarvan, Kai'Sa, Yone showing early top 3 for Gen G here with their early picks. TES, I mean, if they're not going to be able to pull out this one, then does not bode well.
Yeah, especially when Gen G, it feels like the words are written in the sky, ban Renata, to make things significantly easier for you in this sort of respect. And even getting rid of another enchanter, 369 can still go back towards something like the K'Sante, and again, kind of be that frontline peel tool for Top Esports, and that could round out their draft very easily.
I think the Renata ban makes sense. I also think a Bin Pippi might be a good idea here if you're Gen G. You don't really want to give that Poppy over when you've got Jarvan, you've got Kai'Sa diving onto the backline. You probably want follow-up engage with your support. So we'll see if Gen G decide that the Renata or the Poppy is more important for that next ban. Nautilus going to get taken away by Top Esports.
Yeah, lots of those counter-engage options. Braum as well, still kind of floating around. Or never mind, Braum was used in the first game. Will not be floating.
Just in the ether perpetually until we get to
That's
the
what
series,
happens with fearless bans. They have to watch the rest of the games in the
Exactly.
skybox. Yeah, that's how that goes. So.
Yeah, I do agree though. Like, the Poppy going to be bad. I was expecting like Renata Poppy to be the two bans, to be honest, coming into this, because I think Renata works incredibly well with Yunara, enabling her. Also, it means that she can play hyper aggressive thanks to the revive. Plus, having that like tank frontline for the Cassante now feels like you've set up a fantastic position for yourself with Gen G playing hyper aggressive on the dive.
Okay.
A couple of bans. Nautilus, Alistair, Poppy, and Lulu are second phase bans here, Chovy.
Yeah, so you're kind of thinking like, all right, Rel combination with Kai'Sa is very common. See what sort of engaged champion that they would want to grab Duro.
Well here as well.
I was thinking of the Leona. This is kind of the two that you really look at as the final two big engaged champs. We'll see where Duro decides to go. Expect to see the support here. Rakan as well does fit into that wheelhouse. And although he's more follow-up engage in my head, he already has a Jarvan and a Yone going in, so his follow-up is there to be followed up on. And he can jump in with that quickness. Top Esports looking towards top and support most likely. Pantheon can be flexed, but it's very rare that we see that these days into the support role, usually going into that jungle position.
Oh, the Rumble. Okay, I thought Top Esports would just opt in towards like tank frontline and having your Enchanter support to try and set yourself up for this answer, but instead they're just going to try and fight fire with fire here.
Yeah, and I kind of like taking away the Rumble as well, because it does look dangerous if Equalizer comes over the top of the dive with a Jarvan Cataclysm. The hot pot would be spicy. An Aurelia would be very, very spicy, so I don't think we're going to get it. And you get the common answer into the Rumble, the Ornn.
You were so hopeful there for a second, but the Aurelia was Sports will just be looking to survive past the 25-minute mark. The crowd very much at the backs of their LPL representatives, and they need all the support they can get after being demolished in game one.
Pretty standard stuff here for Chovy on the Yone. As the cheers go up, nobody going for any tricky level ones, although we may see an attempt for the Raptor ward.
Looks like Top Esports going to be able to work their way in here to get it down. Will spot out the Canyon is there. And you could hear the Gios, how loud they were there in the back, just trying to get as much behind Top Esports as they can. And Top Esports, like, this was the team that a lot of people in summer expected to win the LPL. They looked absolutely spectacular, but playoffs really fell apart for them. And it's now on Top Esports to see if they can rally themselves in this series to push Gen G towards that game 3.
Look at this, they're sticking around a long time. Okay, so Chovy does get visual confirmation. They know that Hung and Jackie are gonna be coming over delayed. They will be able to bully their way in. And everybody with a calm start.
Yeah. Although Top Esports are the third seed coming out of the LPL, I have to remember that they did get into the finals, played up against BLG, and then lost out in the regional gauntlet, the qualifiers. And AL taking that spot. IG coming back in fourth, and I think a lot of people will look at just LPL teams in general and think, oh, they love to fight. And game one, there was a lot of fighting on the Rift. But Top Esports generally, through the summer split, were much more of the cerebral team. They're much more macro-orientated, kind of very similar to some of the best LCK teams. And Hung did look for an engage there, couldn't quite find it, and Jackie Love and Hung will get the push here with that cultivation of spirit, getting the extra Runans, kind of pseudo-Runans on the minion wave.
Yeah, it was much more about their objective setup, and you got to see a glimpse of that in the last game where Hung got that big Nico ultimate, and that was kind of more what Top Esports were incredibly strong at, was finding these team fights with guys like 369 who were exceptional on these tank plays, finding space, creating moments for Cream and Jackie Love, but unfortunately they just haven't quite been able to find that success as the later summer has gone on, and now are moving over into towards Worlds as well.
Yeah, and Gen G, a different beast, like outplaying them in the Grubs fight. You know, being able to have Keen survive, get the big seismic shove onto 2 and build on this early lead. When Gen G showed us, they know what to do with that early lead, very methodical. So TES gonna change their fortunes here in game number 2 for sure.
Methodical is such an interesting word, because whenever you talk about it in like League of Legends terms, I always feel slow. It's like, oh, they will slowly do it. They'll wait for the next Drake. They'll take the next Drake. They'll take things off the map. GenG are methodically rapid. Like, the things just accelerate away from you so quickly as Canyon is looking to start putting his foot on that gas pedal. The jump in, the heal out. Jackie Love has to flash. Couldn't risk the flag drag flash from Canyon catching him out.
Great pathing from Canyon, though, using the flag and drag over the wall to avoid the ward and get around everything. But now, the answer potentially for Kanavi, with Chovy playing nowhere near Kanavi's access point.
Yeah, smart stuff from Chovy, hugging the side of the river that his jungler is on. Really giving that respect to the Pantheon. A flash stun, point and click, is pretty hard to outplay, even for Yone.
Hung able to catch a Zenith Blaze Shield of Daybreak combination onto Jiro, but the Gleaming Quill pops him back to about 80% HP. 369 with the push in the top lane, as to be expected in the Rumble into Ornn matchup. The Flame Spitter does a lot of work for you there in the early game.
It's still getting a nice little CS lead for himself, because you can see that like the wave is starting to push back out away from Keen, and there's still about a 7 CS lead. So in the grand scheme of things, 369 going to see if he can try and get some revenge for what was the last game, and he has been an exceptional Rumble, 25-9 over the course of his career. This guy has popped off across JDG, Top Esports, so many different iterations of the rosters he's been on this pick. And maybe, just maybe, he can actually turn that Cataclysm back around to be a bit of hell on earth for GenG.
See how effective he can be. Early game relatively calm between these two teams. Chovy TPing back in with double daggers and a longsword. Trading onto Cream here, who steps forward knowing that Soul Unbound will pop Chovy back to reality, and Chovy down to 250 HP.
Yeah, Cream straight up getting the better of Chovy in a lot of these skirmishes we're seeing, making Chovy miss a lot of these cues. Cream, confident positioning and movement from him.
Kanavi looking for the steal. Canyon does get it with the smite. Going to be forced away here. Chovy low. Navi, spear shots. Won't get it as the Soul Unbound pops Chovy underneath the tower and away, but he's losing minions to this turret and plates, with Hung coming in to assist. Top Esports should be able to deny quite a lot of CS away from Chovy.
Yeah, double pots popped on the refillable to make sure that Chovy can survive this alongside the help from the Doran shield, but Kanavi, he wants one more. Flash over the wall is available.
And he's going the other way. Comet Spear. Ooh, just short of Kanavi. Tickles his toes as Chovy jumping in there onto Cream. Canyon looking for it as well. And they get first blood! What was that, Chovy?
Chovy plays on the edge, and he wins!
How does he get away with this? How in the name of God is that where he manages to make it work? Dodging the Kanavi spears, will have to potentially dodge one more here, and getting the kill alongside Canyon. GenG just looked like it can do no wrong.
You got to feel for Cream. I mean, Cream had been doing a lot of work to set this up, but in the end, the scoreboard is what matters. Chovy makes it happen with Canyon wrapping around Kanavi's spear as well, going in the dirt right at Chovy's feet. You could hear the crowd's reaction as the Comet Spear came up short.
Cream does manage to come out and grab the wave, holding it just outside of the tower range, but we'll have another look at this, because you can see just short of Chovy, and then Cream jumps in thinking he can take the fight, and Chovy, it's 100 HP, it's sub 100 HP, just enough to find the kill. Gets the shield as well from the
coaching
Spirit
staff
Cleave.
isn't all.
Yeah, they're like, wow, I love having these players on my team. This is great. These guys are insane.
It's just so tight, and it's those sorts of things that win GenG games. It's the fact that not only are they one of the best macro teams in the world, probably the best macro team in the world, but they also have mechanically some of the best players in the world, and even if Chovy hasn't been as good as he was last year, he is still exceptional.
But I think it's also like, shout out to Canyon, because this guy has been more of a like, hey, I'm going to be selfish and farm for myself. But now that the meta has started to shift over in towards more of these proactive junglers in the early stages, like the Vi's, the Jarvins, less so kind of the Wukong, he's actually been incredibly active in the early stages in this series and has been at the core of fundamentally why GenG are winning this series.
Yeah, 100%. That was necessary cover from him. Chovy had been backed into a corner. You know, Cream had been whittling him down. And so it was necessary for Canyon, you know, to stick around the lane and play around the lane there. And GenG kind of bailed themselves out with that one.
And you could see how much pressure Top Esports wanted to put on that mid lane as well. Hung coming across, Kanavi spending so long around it, trying to shut down Chovy, which is something that has worked for teams in the past. If you can put Chovy behind a few years ago, would have just gone into a side lane and farmed up for the rest of the game and then slowly try to get himself back into the game.
But it's what anyone's legend did against GenG that got through the win, was focus on Chovy, put him behind, then use that to start looking for invades and be able to take over the game with the Kiana. But instead, in this game, that focus on mid ends up backfiring, and now it's Top Esports that are struggling to make things happen.
Keen has the call of the Forge God and the Flash. He's going to call in the trains, try and clear out the wave. Puts down the Fisher as well as Hung flashes forward. Good Bellows breath, but the Solar Flare there for the follow-up. And there's the kill for Top Esports on the board here in Game 2.
Yeah, way to keep focused, Top Esports. They remain calm. You know, they focus on the next minion wave. They go for the dive here. A couple of minions still left alive. That is enough to still pull off the dive and make their cross-map play. Because they know, all right, GenG are going to go for the dragon. We will just go for the kill.
And especially when you still have things like the Oner and the Azir, your scaling is fantastic. Unless Jackie Love loses half his health bar to Chovy immediately in a fight, that's less good.
Yeah, not the best there for Jackie Love, but he has the support of his jungler to make sure that he can just clear out the wave and then back away. Chovy actually pulling this one to the side means that a few minions will be lost before that wave starts pushing back in Top Esports' favor. We have the exchange of a kill in the top side for a dragon for GenG. They also managed to pick up 2 of the 3 grubs, so there are 2 objectives towards that feat of objective slaying. And they have a kill apiece. Top Esports with a very, very slight gold lead in this early game.
Really excited for when we actually do get these dive plays from GenG as well. And we're on support roam timers at the moment. You saw this kind of leisurely pass through mid from Duro. There's just so much vision from TES setting up their swap for the duo lane to come mid and continue applying that pressure towards Chovy, towards this Yone, really trying to hinder the income of this champion is critical. The longer you can put off the breakpoint of the Blade of the Ruin King for Yone, the better you are off in the game overall, because even the single item power spike on that champion completely changes everything.
It's Berserker Greaves, a Vamp Scepter, and a recurve bow at the moment for Chovy. Unable to quite complete that Blade of the Ruin King, but really that item unleashes him on this Yone. Duro looking for a flank position here onto Cream, who his flash is about to come back off cooldown. There it is, so no dive really going to happen here for GenG. Just want to make sure that Chovy can push in the wave against the range damage that comes out from Cream.
Still, Canyon put a pressure on towards his top side, letting Keen just kind of sit here with the a nice little freeze for himself. And although there has been pressure from 369 or towards 369 to get this lead, you can see like GenG still kind of just getting to dictate what's happening.
I think 369 will be happy enough just to equalize that. You've still got 3 minutes before a Herald and a Drake, right? And he's 600 gold ahead, so just equalize the wave, get it crashing as quickly as possible, and you can back off knowing that Canyon was on this side of the map. Your jungler currently pathing out through his own red side. And much slower game, much more patient game from both these teams. Kind of to be expected. Like, everyone wants items in this game. Kai'Sa wants at least a couple. Yone wants at least that Blade of the Ruin King, probably a couple behind it. Azir the same. Jackie Love the same. So everyone willing just to not force the tempo too much in this early game.
Still getting the flank onto Chovy here.
Zenith Blade comes down, uses the Soul Unbound to dodge the Solar Flare, and it's actually the Mortal Steel 3 that didn't even have to unbind his soul as Kanavi chased out by Duro and Canyon. And yeah, that's the problem. You know, it's a Yone. We he fell out of meta for a bit, but this guy's still the slipperiest snake in Summoner's Rift.
But it's also like Duro and Canyon matching this play a lot, because even if you don't get the kill onto Chovy there, what you can do is use that to establish a ton of vision for this dragon that's in 2 minutes time and try and find more picks or play off that. But GenG are just defending well as Top Esports are going for these, and it means that we are probably going to rely on these team fights once again, where GenG were able to find their success in the last game.
Yeah, and credit to Chovy, keeping his charged up Q, knowing, all right, I'm going to need this for an escape. He has still been able to collect his CS.
Fate sealed out from Chovy. Ultimate for ultimate exchange. That was really nice. That was really nice from both players. You can see Cream has to go for it at some point with the backup from Hung, and you have to make them have it. You know, it's like playing poker. You can't just fold as soon as they raise the stakes. You have to make them have it. And that's what Cream did there. Ultimate for ultimate exchange. His actually slightly shorter cooldown than Chovy's.
And then Chovy did have it.
Yeah, he did.
So he is able to lay it down and get out. Still not quite enough for his Blade of the Ruined King, but still going to be able to come back, refill his potion, and head on out to the side lane. Still has his flash for the extra safety as well.
Yeah, there's still a huge amount of pressure coming down towards this bottom side with Duro again trying to match Hong, making sure that Chovy can continue to clear these waves, gets that Blade of the Ruined King, but went a bit far, and we'll just back away. And again, I think it's now just reset 50 seconds to Dragon is going to be the next port of call here. First items completed across the board on top esports side, and it's just a question of, has Chovy gotten enough for that first item himself?
Has he got that Blade of the Ruined King yet? Kanik Rukken complete on Keen. No Leandries yet for 369, but as he goes back there, it populates into the scoreboard, so we'll finish that Leandries just in time. Has the equalizer, has the teleport, as does Keen. So if we do see a fight around this Drake in 20 seconds time, both the top laners can come down and join the party. Chovy still doesn't have his own teleport and staying around for a while here. Cream stepping forward, Chovy forced down to half HP. Grand Skyfall used as well from Kanavi, but Chovy respects it well.
Interesting, with the Dragon coming up in just 1 second here, is going to give TS early movement into the river. They actually double up their control wards, not the biggest of deal.
Zenith played onto Duro, Shield of Daybreak there for the follow-up. Just a tickle of damage from those soldiers, trying to get through Duro, who's gone Mikhail's first on this Rakan.
It looks like top esports are trying to play off the timer of Chovy's TP coming back up. They know that he should have enough for that Blade of the Ruined King, so as long as they can take the fights and start them before that reset comes through, they should be fine, but they're a little late on starting up this Dragon because they want that Scuttle Crab, and that's bought the time now for the Blade of the Ruined King to be completed, and Gen.G confident to step forward.
Double TP as well. Keen is actually coming down towards this ward at the same time. Top esports respect it, back away. 369 does have the push, and it's only a second Drake for Gen.G. Top esports could decide not to try and take this Barney, not to try and take this Frey. Trying to control that mid lane at the moment. 369 now teleporting towards the river. The Drake down to 3,000 HP. Kanavi jumping forward onto Keen. The Drake's still the target for Canyon and Chovy. Call to the Forge Guard as they dive back in. The double knockup. Canyon's already killed off Hung as Kanavi falls down to half HP. Duro with a good quickness. They dive back onto Kanavi. Fate sealed. Kanavi clapped by Chovy. Meanwhile, the dive onto the backline from Ruler, a killer instinct and an instinct to kill here for Gen.G. Cream trying to escape, puts the soldier down to try and take out Ruler, but he just doesn't have the range. Gen.G once again find a mid-game fight and absolutely delete top esports.
Gen.G are just too good. That was an insane team fight there, choosing the moment to go right back in. Ruler, Kaisa ulting into the back line. Here's a look at how it all started.
It's Chovy coming in with the knock-up that enables Keen with the follow-up. That is perfect for Gen.G. And Ruler this entire time is getting to free hit on 2 key carries in the back line. And here is where it gets incredible from Gen.G. Canyon gives his life, but it opens the gap for Ruler to go forward and flashes on Gen.G to support the AD carry to make sure he can escape with a sliver of HP as Cream falls before the LCK first seeds.
A 5-for-1 for Gen.G. In that position? Now 3.3k ahead, 17 minutes in. Look at the damage the Ruler dished out. 4.2k in that last fight. And for top esports, it's not for lack of trying. They played the team fight pretty well. It's just Gen.G with that bouncy castle at the start. We're able to find Hung, and we're able to find those first couple of kills.
This team is just a beauty to watch fight there, and Gen.G just like that. They have the hold on the game once again. I mean, you can get your consolation prize of the Rift Herald. TS will go back out and try and burn this one down. They should be able to do so. But with just that fight, Gen.G have just completely taken control.
And I love the way Ruler played that fight in particular. Like, so often at Worlds, we've seen Kai'Sa's shoot themselves into the back line and shoot themselves in the foot because the Yunara immediately opens fire and is just able to duel the Kaisa in that back line. But Ruler found his moment to get on towards Jackie Love and enable the fight onto Cream, and now 369's in trouble.
369 has no flash here. Call to the Fortune, not going to come back with the Fate Seal. Goes on to 369. Flame Spitter, not enough to kill off Keen. Kanavi coming in. Duro there for a little bit of shielding. Solar Flare, Chovy, Mikhail's immediately. Duro with a double charm. Keen trying to escape with the spear. Will pierce his heart. hard as he goes down, and now Chovy being collapsed on. Chovy doesn't have the flash, no fate sealed for him either. Will be very difficult to buffer out of Cream if he goes in for that Emperor's Divide. The wave on its way, 369, trying to shepherd it in. Chovy, the target, exhausts down, Soul Unbound comes out, but Chovy under the tower survives for as long as he can, but Top Esports put him 6 feet under. Meanwhile, GenG pushed through the mid-wave to get a tier 1, to look for a tier 2. Riftel charging towards this top side will be an exchange of tier 2 towers.
Good punish from TES there. You know, Keen not able to make it happen at the beginning. TES immediately closed the trap here. That's what you have to be ready to do. If any sort of error does show up, immediately go and punish it.
And the fact that you have that Pantheon is huge, but Keen, yeah, just doesn't quite get the second pass on the ore, and it means that immediately the turnaround is available. Kanavi with that ultimate can cover the top. Duro, heroics here to try and save Keen, but the collapse from Top Esports is just too quick and too strong. But an overextension, honestly, try and make this play happen, especially waiting for the wave, does mean that you get the tier 2 in the mid for GenG, and it's kind of this injection of gold for Cream off of the towers, answered for an injection of gold onto Ruler.
It's a 2k gold swing for Top Esports. They're still 1.5k in the hole, but 369 now 1.2k ahead. Bloodletter's Curse and the Leandry's complete as Hong steps up in this top lane. Cream's on his way. Juro's going to clear out this vision. He has Canyon there. And will be spotted as he walks around the corner onto that ward. Gromp just their first target. Grand Starfall not available for Kanavi. He's currently in the mid lane, and GenG decide to back away.
Yeah, a little bit risky. Not every member accounted for. You can see coming out of base, Yunara as well as the Pantheon. And TES, after that play, it's got to build your confidence back up a little bit, you know? Getting at least some opening and seeing that GenG are mortal.
369, look at the flank here onto Chovy. Cream going in first. 369 with the flame spitter. Fate Seal comes out. Chovy able to dodge away with the Q3. Quickness coming out. The Zenith blade eaten by Juro. Chovy with another shield able to survive, and now the Mikhail's going to heal him up, and he's taken out by Kanavi. Meanwhile, Hung and 369 are now in the middle of GenG. Chovy survived for so long that GenG collapsed, and Top Esports collapsed around them.
Jackie Love couldn't get to the fight, but GenG en masse show up in the top lane and put them in the dirt.
TES, they go after Chovy, but the Avengers assemble quickly. Chovy buys some time. He ults and then he Qs away from the Azir ultimate that did not knock him back. He then ease over and dodges so much. He stays alive for a long time. Ruler, Duro again trying to keep him up, and by that time, Ruler and the rest of the Avengers have arrived to finish the job.
The speed, the rapidity of the response there from GenG. They called an ambulance, and it was Top Esports that they put in the body bags. Now again a 4k lead for GenG. A moment ago I was saying it's a 2k swing. It swung back, and Soul Point for GenG has been begun.
Soul Point for GenG, Atacam for GenG, gold leads for GenG. It feels inevitable this series for GenG.
Juro is just waiting, just out of range of the Zenith blade, dashes back as Chovy snaps back to the river. There's Soul Point. 5 minutes away as Kanavi dives in. The solar flare hits Ruler, but immediately he cleanses it away, and Kanavi doesn't really have the backup. Cannon down towards the bottom side. Kanavi going back in, but Keen will put him 6 feet under. Good damage from Jackie Love, though. Gets one in response. Keen still looking for damage onto Cream. Keen jumps in with that knockup. Chovy, the fate sealed, and Emperor divides him. Ruler gets another duo with the knockup. Ruler trying to escape 369, but he's put on a spit, and he's well done. 369 and Top Esports fighting back.
They get some extra gold, and they open up the map as well. There are objective bounties still up too if they can stick around.
Duro and Chovy look for the quickness combo here. They turn onto 369, who's overheated. Duro almost escapes, but Cream puts the soldiers down. Chovy just able to survive. 100 HP on him. Jackie Love doesn't have the tools to close that gap. In the end, a 1-for-1.
Barely able to escape away from that one. Top Esports, though, finding a crucial fight, and we'll get to see it in this engagement as they set up for it after the Dragon.
Okay, so we've got two sides here. Kanavi goes in on Duro at the top side, and they have the equalizer to try and support his damage. But on the bottom side of it, Canyon has to flash out after GenG go for the engage on the other half, and Jackie is free hitting here. So him and Cream are able to take out the first member. Canyon is down. The re-engage from Keen, though, only knocks up Jackie, and then tries to go, Chovy tries to go over Cream's ultimate, and they get rebuffed.
Perfect timing on the Emperor's Divide there to keep Jackie safe, to keep Cream safe. And now, Top Esports, that gold lead starting to whittle more and more away, but that looming Dragon Soul in 3 minutes' time has to be playing on their mind.
For Top Esports, every fight is a knife edge. It is so close, and every time GenG just managing to escape with that little bit more. The last couple of fights, though, going in their favor. Only 2k gold the lead now for GenG. Chovy, though, 2k ahead himself. Has that QSS. Makes it so hard to lock him down in these frays.
And he's got the first Ornn upgrade from Keen as well. And the Mikhails that you talked about earlier, so QSS and Mikhails to allow this Yone to continue to carry from melee range. Level 15 now achieved for him on top of it.
Third item for Ruler as well is such an important pickup on the Kaisa. Makes this a little bit more terrifying if he's able to find his access that he wants to into the back line. But it feels like so much of this again is on Cream and Jackie Love. Can they stand and fight? And it's what we were talking about from draft. It's these two carries are absolutely absurd in these late game fights, but when the fights are so spread out and there's so much threat, it's on the outplays to happen from Cream and Jackie Love in these fights.
Got 2 minutes on the Drake. We've got 10 seconds on the Baron. GenG just tried to deny a little bit of vision around this. Duro with the Oracles will sweep out one of the wards. We'll see if he spots the second. Not in the pit, doesn't see it. But can step forward towards that blue side jungle just a little bit. Cream was pushing out bot, but he's actually going to go and join up with his team in the mid lane. 369, the one assigned to deal with Chovy, which is not the easiest state of affairs. Zenith Play follows Duro across here. Hung not an easy avenue to retreat from it. Chovy was looking for that collapse, but he does get out. Ooh, Ruler almost connecting there, but everyone from Top Esports able to spread wide enough to avoid that missile.
Yeah, good bit of damage there from Jackie Love. Put a dent into Ruler, or into Duro at the very least. Chunking out the Rakan can be an opening.
Do need to be a little careful with how spread out Top Esports are, especially with Keen now in the area. One call of the Forge God onto someone who's left without a flash could be devastating. And Cream and Jackie Love are prime targets for the next couple of minutes. But with 50 seconds until that Dragon Soul, it doesn't look like Top Esports have got that time to buy.
Just going to push through this mid-wave. Lord Dominic's finish for Jackie Love means he'll get through Keen a little bit easier, who's gone for that Frozen Heart. Wondering if perhaps it would be a Randuin's, but with the waves pushing in bot and top lane, Top Esports kind of have to reset to deal with them at some point, and GenG have really good vision control around this Baron. Juro's going to step up, TP comes out, Knavi looking to see if they can catch the Rakan, but it's not the easiest to do, and you can see GenG already on the Baron right now. Knavi, you're just going to Grand Starfall in, you have no vision right now. Juro there to act as a bodyguard, and GenG back away from it. Farsight alteration was used in the pit. The vision once again denied by the control ward just sitting outside of it. Knavi dashes in onto Keen, not really the target that you want. Meanwhile, the Solar Plague dives in onto Juro, who gets the quickness off, but it's only onto Leona. Hung already down, the corner of the Forge God coming out as well as GenG get one and immediately back away.
It's everything onto Duro, but Duro is so slippery he backs away. And now GenG continue to play back towards this Baron, teasing Top Esports.
Bait seal from Chovy doesn't connect, but Canyon does! Jackie Love is sent packing the Cataclysm onto Cream. He dives in but dies for it. 369 trying to flash away. Canyon can still flag and jag and chase this one down. Once again, try as you might, you just can't beat them. GenG are the best in the world right now.
They're just cool, calm, and collected there. GenG, you can tell, they're just waiting for the Yunar ultimate to drop off. As soon as it does, they pull the trigger, they re-engage onto Jackie, and instantly delete him.
But it's even the angles that they're attacking here. It's Chovy coming in from one angle to force Jackie into reach of Canyon, and Ruler to follow up. There was no hesitation. There was no chance for Top Esports. GenG refused to be denied playoffs.
369 dying right at the last moment. The Baron goes over to GenG. There's a Mountain Drake for them, and it will be Soul. And you wonder for Top Esports, if you do lose this Soul, how are you going to get through this Ornn, you do have two good DPSs. You've got an Azir, you've got a Yanaro, but that Azir sitting at 2 items right now as Kanavi jumps in. Once again, Duro the target, but he's durable and he'll just battle dance his way away. The Zola flare doesn't find its mark. As now the Court of the Forge God comes out from Keen and he's praying to Chovy. The church may be in session. Chovy unable to find the engage off towards the side, but again, Someone has used the equalizer down, doesn't really connect onto anyone, does separate Keen from the rest of Gen G. Redemption coming out, Keen should be able to get into it, not quite. Jackie Love has transcended himself as Chovy dashes back, 1 kill. Cream goes forward as they look for Ruler, but Ruler with a killer instinct dives behind Cream. Jackie Love diving in and Chovy going the other way once again. Gen G clean up the fight and Top Esports are left rattled.
Ruler has been hit with better Azir ults than that one. But this time around, he will not be stopped as Gen G march towards the base.
Gen G are gonna make quick work of Top Esports.
The first game was sub 25 minutes, the second one likely to be sub 30. I think a lot of people will wonder, could this series have just been an email? Gen G take their rightful spot in the final 8.
Okay.